It's the Thanks for Writing Halloween Special! Starring BJ and Andrew. Featuring Dick Ryder, the Coaster Guy. Colonel C.T. Ryder. H.G. Cockenstuff. With a Halloween edition of the Writing Times by Thanklyn Forderick. And special guests, Holoclaws and Lucifer from Lake Compounce. All in the Thanks for Writing Halloween Special. Welcome to the 13th annual Thanks for Writing Halloween Special.
We usually do a couple of Halloween events. We usually go to either Great Adventure and or New England. I think we always go to Great Adventure pretty much, right? For Fright Fest.
Yeah, for the most part.
And then the past bunch of years too, we did Dorney Park when they really upgraded their Halloween thing into Haunt. We did not do it this year. And then the big guy that we both really got hooked on the past couple years is the Haunted Graveyard at Lake Compounce. And this was my third time doing it. This was your fourth, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm, my fourth.
Yeah. And we'll get into that a little later in the show.
Well, before we get into the Great Adventure Fright Fest discussion, we did go to the park with H.G. Cockenstuff. He is an esteemed voiceover actor. We're very fortunate to be able to afford him for some of our stuff. We actually got him to come with us to the park and cut some great video.
All right, let's check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Take a look. Six Flags Great Adventure. This parking lot's always hot and windy, just like my ass. All right, we're gonna catch her on the rag and create a bloody fountain. Six Flags Fright Fest. Turn around, bend over, and I'll give you a fright with my fest. It's fun. Oh, no, it's just tango. Asylum. Get ready to take it up the ass, in the eye, and up the lum. It's 6 o'clock. It's the awakening. In my pants. These half-dead, they haunt in the wicked. I'm gonna terrorize with my bone in Bone Butcher territory. We just finished jizzing out at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jizzy.
Well, I'm looking for youth, not experience. Drinking in the nightclub with my bosom friend.
Yeah, he's very good, that guy. He charges by the word, so it's good that he's brief.
It's a little pricey, but charges extra for cock.
Yeah, that word is particularly expensive.
Ooh, ouch. This Halloween special only makes half as much sense, but it's 3 times as thrilling.
Yeah, not really. So, let's talk about Great Adventure's Fright Feast.
Six Flags Great Adventure. Fright Fest.
Kind of pathetic, really.
All right, that's good. Let's move on to the Haunted Graveyard.
Right, what can you say about it at this point? It's
Well, they love those pantyhose webs or whatever the hell they make that shit out of.
yeah, they really do.
Those extra flammable,
Oh yeah, right.
as they saw in New England a year or two ago. Almost brought down Houdini,
Almost brought down the house.
the Opera House.
So with the Great Adventure, the fountain, when you walk in, they dye that red, and they put the big inflatable circus clown thing up by the carousel, and they do a bunch of crap.
We're not really gonna go through every decoration,
Yeah.
are we?
No, I'm just saying
Okay.
they roll out the same shit every year. It's not very good what they do, generally speaking.
Yeah, it is, but it isn't. The park decorations are fine. I mean, it's been unchanged for a number of
Yes.
years. So being our home park, it gets boring because it's literally the same, just decorations every year
Yeah, I guess that's really
around
what
the
it is.
place. The big inflatable clown is very impressive. It takes
I guess.
over the hole in front of the carousel. But, when you've seen it every year, it just kind of becomes ho-hum. Oh, there it is. The problem is that Six Flags, and this has been going on for about, 4 or 5 seasons already, where the terror trails, is what they call them. They're haunts, haunted houses, haunted mazes, whatever you want to call them, are upcharge.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And that's
like
really the problem. Yeah, I mean, you have to pay to get in the park. But then, you got to pay extra if you want to see any of the actual haunts.
Yeah.
And what was it? It was...
I think it was $8 this year, 2013, for each.
It was $8
walkthrough.
each, or there was some kind of a pass for all of them.
Yeah, it was some outrageous number.
We could have sworn that the prices were a lot higher, but according to the website we're looking at now, well, we're just going by memory. I remember it was $8.
I
for
remember
one.
that too.
$8 would get you into any one of the terror trails, and then it is $15 for a wristband that's good for all of them, or no, almost all of them. But you had to pick between the two biggest ones. I guess you only got one. You got one chance in just one of those.
Well, it's confusing
Something
the way
like
they have
that.
it on the website
This is already getting confusing.
because they throw an "or" in at the end when they list them. They don't say blah 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 and blah. It says blah 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 or blah. So I don't understand.
Yeah, keyword there being blah.
Yeah.
From the Six Flags haunts that I have done back when they were not charging extra for them, they were all pretty blah anyway.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we have not been paying for these the last few years, this year included. So,
Yeah.
and again, just because they've been the most underwhelming of all Halloween attractions that I've ever done.
Yeah. No, me too.
Just understaffed. The sets are not good. Nothing really spectacular about these at all.
No, the most minimal amount of effort you could possibly put into a Halloween, haunted walkthrough experience. That's what Six Flags does.
Yeah. Well, really, the best thing they have going are the general park decorations, and that's, I think, because most of that stuff was purchased some years ago.
Yeah.
Back in the Warner Brothers era, continuing through the Premiere era. And now they have all that great stuff in storage, so they bring it all out and they throw it around the park, and it looks pretty cool. But they don't. I don't really trust their haunts. They are charging extra for them, so maybe there is a little more in there, but it's just too much. I remember when we went. I said, if it's anything more than 5, I'm not doing it.
Right.
And because we wanted to do one, and it was 8, and we said, fuck that.
Well,
that was that.
I do remember back when they first started charging, I think it was about $5.
Yeah, I guess that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
This was and
Something
they
that.
only had, I think it was 2.
Yeah, I
2
remember
mazes.
that too. Yeah.
But now they've expanded and they have like 5 or 6 now.
Well, let's look at this. So, this year, Great Adventure is offering. Well, it's 6. It's really 5 though. 5 of these terror trails. Well, they say terror trails, haunted houses, and frightful attractions. So they're just including everything. The Manor, a zombie-infested manor. Total Darkness was new for this year. I guess it's just dark. I guess. Plunge into a complete blackout. That's what it says.
Well, they don't really have to think about that one. They just put you in a dark space and...
Yeah, just have absolutely no light getting in. It's perfect. Yeah. So that's good for them.
Actually, yeah, that does sound like not a bad idea.
Spared no expense. Total Darkness. Voodoo Island. It's, I guess, a voodoo theme.
Mm-hmm. That was down by the log flume. It looked like that went out onto that island.
Oh, the island under the log flume, yes.
Yeah, where they used to have the antique cars out there. Is that
many years ago?
I wish I could have, or I wish I could just kind of walk out there onto that island and check it out.
Yeah. Wasteland is a toxic spillage, nuclear fallout theme, otherwise known as their parking lot. Asylum. It's an asylum. We know this is classic. Doesn't every park do this somewhere?
I think so. And that was housed in the old chiller station.
Yeah, it was old chiller station. And then that's the 5. And then the 6th is the Haunted Heist, which is really just their heist game, which is that new game, newer, I suppose, where you need to pretend you're a thief and you're navigating through the lasers, the field of lasers. And I don't know what they do to make it haunted. They have scarators in there while you're trying to navigate through the lasers. That seems pretty cruel.
Yeah, because you're trying to go through it.
It's really just a game. Yeah, I don't know.
And then they're screwing you up on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know
you lose.
how they work that one out. But that's the 6th. That's really just kind of a game, though. And that one only has 1. They rated this year everything was 1 to 3 skulls. 1 skull being fairly scary, 3 skulls being very scary.
I love the other rating system.
And they're all 3, except for the Haunted Heist, which is 1. So that's not even very scary. It's only fairly scary. So there you have it. That's the lineup. I'm sure they're all not worth the price of admission. By that I mean the extra upcharge price of admission. Yeah. So there you have it. And then they had the scare zones, which this is what we did see. Well, we saw as much as you can see.
Yeah, well, we always walk through the scare zones every year because you don't have to pay for them.
Yeah.
Plus, you kind of just have to walk through them, I think, to get around, really, right?
You pretty much do have to. And this is one of those areas that we've noticed, again, in recent years, is just these have been understaffed.
Yeah.
I almost can't remember the last time that they really did these up right. It had to be a long time ago, 8 years ago, something like that. It was early 2000s when this was done right. But it's not even really... I mean, really, it's just, Circus Psycho, which they've been doing in the Boardwalk area of that park forever, since I can remember. And then the Bone Butcher Territory, which is the Frontier Adventure area, and we get Western Zombies. That's changed over the years. They used to have Bone Bob, right? Bone Bob the Bone Butcher.
Bad Bob the Bone Butcher.
Bad Bob.
Yeah.
We call him Bone Bob.
Yeah.
Bone Bob the Bone Butcher.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him.
They actually had a central character once. Now it's just Bone Butcher Territory, and it's just Western-themed zombies. The Bloody Fountain, of course, they just make the water red in the park's central fountain.
Well, they have some ghouls over there.
Yeah, they keep some shovel-wielding ghouls.
Yeah, shovel guys.
Because they kind of do a makeshift bit of dirt around the fountain, right? It's supposed to be graves.
Yeah.
Graves in concrete for some reason.
Well.
And my personal favorite this year, Straw Man Stalkers. I just love that because Dorney Park's Haunt, since they've been doing Haunt now for 5-6 years, they have a really great maze called Cornstalkers,
Yeah.
and that's a great name. It's cornstalk, corn stalkers, and you're being stalked through the fields of corn. And this is Strawman Stalkers. It's just really weak.
Well,
it's like they wanted to do Cornstalkers, and I guess it was copyrighted by Cedar Fair.
and I guess Scarecrow was copyrighted too in some form.
Or something. Yeah, they could do Scarecrow Stalkers. That would be cooler. But it ends up being Strawman Stalkers. So it's like little men made of straws. You take cut up a straw and make like legs and arms, and it's a little straw.
A little plastic straw. Yeah.
That's really silly. And that was the closest thing to an actual maze that we went through.
Yeah, because
that's down by the lake. That's like the lakeside area, lakefront.
Right, lakefront. And do you have to walk through it a certain way, or can you go both ways?
You had to. Yeah, you had to go. You had to start at the grandstand, the Great Lake Grandstand, and then go kind of toward the Frontier Adventures, Looney Tunes National Park area.
Well, like you said, yeah, it's the closest thing to a walkthrough because you're forced to go one way. They had,
yeah. Well, they set it up like a walk. It is it's the only kind of free walkthrough. It's not just. It's a little more than a scare zone.
Yeah,
it's a one-way walkthrough.
And they had some, dried corn stalks. And they had areas where the ghouls could hide, but again, like you said, it's understaffed. So
yeah, when we went through, there wasn't much hiding going on.
Yeah.
They had a few ghouls. They had one mechanical ghoul of some sort that would, I guess it was a scarecrow or something that would pop up.
I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something, though.
And
they had fog, at least in one area.
It was all in one area. It was really good in that one spot.
Yeah. You really couldn't see. It was kind of neat.
In that one spot. But overall, it was really, it was not very good. We're going to do something a little different here. I'm going to let my, I believe he's my third cousin, twice removed, born and raised in the South. It's a little strange. He's a colonel of what? I'm not sure. But he calls himself Colonel. We just take his word for it in the family. But
you've never really asked him about that?
No, I don't speak to him normally.
Oh.
But
okay.
He's got a little bit of that coaster enthusiasm in him, and we're gonna let him say a few words here about Fright Fest. It's Colonel C.T. Ryder, everyone. Fright Fest. I do declare that the South invented Halloween. The Southern farmers have been using the scarecrow for centuries. Proud Southern plantation owners have been masters with the whip and chainsaw for generations. For as long as anyone can remember, self-respecting Southern men, women, and children alike have been covering themselves in white sheets, cutting 2 holes for eyes, and going out to give a fright. Now, don't get uppity. I'm talking about dressing up as ghosts here. The 6 Confederate flags over Georgia hosts the one and only original Fright Fest. It is far superior to those other fests in the North, like Great Adventure that you are all talking about. Down in Georgia, we have them real spooks, ghosts, and goblins. Let me tell you, even the Colonel gets all he can handle on these terror trails. Last time I ventured down one of these long, twisted mazes, it done right give me a case of the vapors. We have the terror train, We have the Monster Plantation. We have Monstrosity Championship Wrestling. You don't have none of that in your precious great adventure. And we all know the devil went down to Georgia, not New Jersey. Oh, that Jersey devil couldn't scare crap from an outhouse. Bunch of bull, and you know it. The dead of the South will rise again and kick the ass of the northern zombies. This has been Colonel C.T. Ryder. Thanks for riding.
All right, thanks, Colonel. I guess. All right, what do we got coming up now?
Monstertainment.
Is that what they really call it?
Yes. They have the Six Flags Spooktacular Street Party.
Okay.
That's a street dance party featuring Halloween hits, where you're the star of the show.
I don't think we saw that. I don't remember being the star of a show
no.
at any point.
I don't. Including this one.
They always have Dead Man's Party, right?
Dead Man's Party. Where is that?
Every year.
It's on here. Yeah, Dead Man's Party. They moved it this year for the first time that I can remember.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Not taking over the queue of the Ferris wheel, the giant wheel. Instead, they put it off to the side of the park, in front of the old Batman Access Chemicals stunt show arena. Looked like it was an all-new stage, too. Had the kind of upgraded lighting, LED stuff going on. So they actually bought a new stage for this. And it was over there, on the side of the park, the old Gotham City area. So that show we actually checked out. And it was pretty much the same as always. Just a bunch of people in costumes doing those group dance numbers. And I know while we were there, I was pondering the question of how did those things start? Now, when did that become a Halloween thing? Why is it a group dance number? And it's always kind of a pop rock song.
Well, it's Thriller, right?
And yeah, I think you said that when we were there.
Yeah.
I guess my best answer was Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh,
I think actually
take it back a little farther.
Is that kind of what started that?
It could be, yeah.
That was a surprise cult
hit,
and then that sort of created that genre of this is what Halloween should be.
Yeah, even with that precursor, everybody is thinking Thriller, though. That's what everybody's ripping off.
And then the Thriller video, well, they quite literally they do, because they actually do Thriller, in almost all these shows.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
But everybody has the zombie dead makeup, and they do the moves where it's supposed to look like they're sort of dead or something. It's all rip off of that.
Yeah, it's weird herky-jerky dead zombie dance moves.
Yeah.
But I just don't, why is that Halloween?
Because
like the group
Michael Jackson said
synchronized dance number with everybody doing the herky-jerky dance, and the one lead singer out front with the group in the back lined up in, 1 or 2 or 3 rows, depending on how many you have. It's just funny. It's just that's what the Halloween is. I don't know. Yeah.
Never going to change, I guess.
Well, the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review is the thing that I was thinking. And that's all year-round thing.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing. It's just...
Yeah, rock music.
It's basically a Dead Man's Party all year round.
Right.
So they had that. They had the Freak Show.
Yeah, they always have a Freak Show.
Which seemed different this year. Doc Swan's Sideshow of Oddities. I don't know who Doc Swan is. That's new to me.
Oh, where did they have that this year, though? It wasn't in the same spot. It wasn't in the boardwalk where it usually is, I don't think, right?
No, it was. The stage
it wasn't
at
the
front. Yeah, the boardwalk, it was. But then they also had the Circus of Thrills. That was in the back of the boardwalk.
Maybe that's what I'm
Close
thinking
to the park lot.
That was a little different.
They had the, I don't know what the hell they call that. Pole sitters?
Yeah, they climb up on a pole and
pole climbers. Yeah, they
sways back and forth.
It's just some sideshow circus acts. Sway poles, right here.
There you go. Sway
Globe
poles.
of Death, Wheel of Destiny, and sway poles. Well, that's what they had. We saw a little bit of that. Sway poles.
Sway pole.
Say it right.
Sway pole.
We actually did this back. We should have started with the Awakening. That's where it all starts at 6 p.m. That's where the all the ghouls come out for a little parade.
Yeah, you know what's cool about that actually is they actually announce it all across the park. So it's not like, unless you're in that area, I think that's kind of nice because we were standing in line and for a ride.
Yeah.
And they just they pipe it in everywhere. That's kind of
that is
kind of nice.
Kind of cool they do that. Oh, we didn't see this one, but Doc Snooker's Halloween Time Machine.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Doc Snooker.
Oh, so you have two Docs. You have Doc Swan and Doc Snooker.
Yeah, what is this? Doc... What are they doing? and obviously the Time Machine is a Doc Brown ripoff. Because anytime you have Doc and a time travel show,
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what they're doing. I'm actually kind of sorry we missed that one. I don't even know what the hell that was. The hell was that?
I guess we'll never know.
Oh, well. There was the Spooky Kooky Magic Show. That was a kid's magic show.
What about Zambora?
They didn't have it this year.
They didn't have it?
No. I'm pretty sure we would have found it if it was there.
I really enjoyed that Zambora the Zambora show.
Zambrosia?
Yeah, that's...
What is her name? Zambora. That was the woman who turns into a gorilla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, cheap
That's
trick.
That's like a sideshow classic.
But that's, I'm sure that goes way, way back.
I'm sure they've been doing that for decades. Generations. That's cool.
But I like it. I think it works.
Yeah. They have had that for a number of years in a row, but this year they didn't have it.
Okay.
In the animal arena at the end of their Colonial Street, Main Street, whatever that is, they had You Otter Know. Obviously, I guess some kind of sea otter show.
Okay.
I think that was even Halloween themed. I guess that must be the show they have all year.
Yeah, well,
ever since the dolphins died.
Yeah, the dolphins died.
That's all they have left now, just a couple otters. I guess that's based on Alanis Morissette's hit single. And then...
you otter know.
Yeah, the otters sing. And then the coup de grace, really much the best thing we saw there was Ghoul Masters Ghosts.
That was actually one of the best things I think we've seen there in a number of years, probably.
Yeah, not since the hayride. Not since the haunted hayride.
Yeah,
was going around the Rapids area. Has there been something this good in Fright Fest? This was a dance and multimedia stage spectacular.
And this was down by in the area that's what was it called? The Fantasy Forest?
No, the Old Country.
Old Country.
It's in the Showcase Theater.
It's totally wrong with that. I don't know why I was thinking of that.
It's in the Showcase Theater, which is in the Old Country area that's been closed off. It stays closed off through the majority of the season, except for Halloween every year.
Yeah.
Where they open it because the Showcase Theater is there.
Yeah, that, and then they always have they use the chiller station for a haunted maze.
Right. This year it was the Asylum.
And for the past, I don't know how many years in the Showcase Theater, that's what it's called.
Yes.
They've had a hypnotist show.
Yeah, I think it's been the same cheesy hypnotist show since I can remember.
Yeah.
This year they finally changed it out.
Yeah. And
to great effect.
Yeah, it was a really cool show. It was essentially a dance show. They a group of people come out and they each kind of have their own turn in the spotlight. They're all different characters and
yeah, it's the much better version of Dead Man's Party.
Yeah, sure.
Is what it is. It's a smaller cast. There was only 8, 6, 7, something like that.
Yeah, 6 or 8 people.
Between 6 and 8. Yeah, they actually had. They were all dead. They're supposed to be ghosts, but they all had a character. And actually, it opens up with a dance number, song and dance number, and then they go through each character and they introduce them, and they tell you how they died, and it's kind of comical.
Yeah,
I guess, or it kind of goes back and forth.
Well,
some of them are a little funnier, some of them are a little just more brutal, but and it's really entertaining. It really is a multimedia show. The introduction of the characters is done on a big screen Yeah, there's some visual effects.
Yeah, some really cool visual effects. At one point, the Ghoul Master, who essentially looks like Marilyn Manson.
He's like the main character, and yeah, he's just like an emo guy, right? It's like emo master,
and emo master, yeah. And he dances in front of a screen, but the screen is
that was great.
It's all
that
synced
part.
up to a dance routine, and so it looks like he's interacting with the screen. At one point he's like he splats a bug, and or his shadow is dancing with him or something. It was really cool. It looked really good.
Yeah, that was a great part. I think we both agreed the best part was the blacklight section.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Where they came out in the skeleton costumes, so all you saw was the bones dancing, and it looked really good.
Yeah, it's essentially the same thing that what Disney did with their the Little Mermaid show at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, people in otherwise black outfits, and then only what they want you to see in a bright color that comes out in the black light.
Yeah,
and it looks really good. It's a really good show. It's the one thing I think we definitely would recommend.
Yeah,
if you're gonna go to Great Adventure with what's left of this season, definitely see the Ghoul Master's Ghost. It's really fun.
Yeah,
it's really cool. A fun little anecdote about our showing of that show. We sat literally 2 seats down from park president.
Yeah,
John Fitzgerald.
Yeah, John Fitzgerald.
John Fitzgerald. We had we were sitting a couple of seats down from him, and that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
because he obviously was seeing the show for the first time, so I don't know how this works usually. Well, we should mention this is an outsourced show.
Yes,
this is not a Great Adventure or a Six Flags production. Obviously, this was something that they bought in to have performed during Fright Fest this year. So for whatever reason, though, this was his first time seeing it. I guess he just kind of bought it sight unseen, or delegates someone else, in the company to, goes out, checks something out, picks something. He trusts them with it, and then he waits till it's in the park already being performed before he sees it.
Yeah. Well, we should mention that this was the second night of Fright Fest.
Yeah, that was interesting too, because it was the second night,
not the first showing of the show,
and
either.
not the first show of that night too.
Yeah.
So we just happened to catch it, and it took him to that time, I guess, to have some time to check it out. And then after the show, it was just I heard him talking to, I think it was just one of the security guys, because I guess he couldn't find anyone else to talk to, anyone else that was working, and he just said, "That was interesting," and that was it.
Not blown away by it, I guess.
Yeah, he seemed really underwhelmed during the show. He had his phone out a couple times. He was
really?
texting or something. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of. I thought it was funny because it could have been like live sacrifice, animal sacrifices. It was like sacrificing squirrels or something, and like squirrels. This is going on, and then he's like, "Oh shit, what did I do? I signed on for this. I said okay for this."
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, I don't know. What else is there to say about... Oh, I know what there is to say.
Oh.
Well, you pointed this out to me, Brian. On the Fright Fest website, they have little descriptions accompany each coaster, at least. I think.
Well, they have this... They go through what the haunts are, and the scare zones, and the shows. But then they have another section where... What is it called? Spine-chilling adventures?
Yeah.
And it's mostly just the coasters, but it's just rides with descriptions, but not the regular description of what the ride is. It's a special Halloween description where they and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs each one. Somebody sat down. Somebody who runs the website or works on the website got overzealous and just went crazy with these things. But I don't understand what it is, because it's just website. It has nothing to do with what's in the park. They just try to tell you that there's something extra going on each of these rides that isn't really going on when you're there.
Yeah, so for example, for El Toro, it says a secret toxic waste dump
That's the parking lot.
right behind the ride is producing animals that crave human flesh.
Uh-huh.
Rare. Like they want their flesh rare.
Oh, okay.
A bowl of shiny eyeballs to pop in their
What?
throats like olives.
That's what it says?
Soup made from blood and fluids of thrill seekers. And it's just the ride, really. I don't understand these descriptions, what they're saying here.
So it says that, and then you actually, there's a link, and there's a longer story for each of these, too. Each have a little blurb, and then they have this whole story.
Yeah, it's really long.
And anyway,
really long.
The point, I guess, is that when I read these before we went to the park, and actually got a little excited because I thought maybe they were going to put something, like El Toro mentions these crazy toxic waste monsters. So I thought, like, oh, maybe at the bottom of the first drop, there's they put a couple animatronics that will, you'll whiz by and it'll look kind of cool, or something. And then Nitro was the same way, where it talked about a portal opened up at the entry of the ride, and you might see something with crazy jagged teeth or something. If you see this during your ride,
Yeah.
hope that it's over quick. So again, I thought maybe at the bottom of the drop or somewhere strategically placed in the ride, they'd have a giant something. But lo and behold, nothing. It's really just a bunch of website garbage. It had no bearing whatsoever on what was actually at the park. And again, it's about, 10, 12 of these. They went through a shitload of rides. Bunch of garbage, really.
So, well, that sums up perfectly Six Flags Fright Fest.
A bunch of garbage.
I would have liked to have seen one of their mazes, but I'm not going to pay for that. That's insulting. Because you go to the Cedar Fair parks and you don't have to pay extra for that.
And again, at least historically speaking, from before they were upcharging at the Six Flags parks, they were better. They're better.
Mm-hmm.
The Cedar Fair haunt mazes are better.
Yeah. So,
they have been better. So you get better stuff. You're not upcharged for it. I really refuse to play into that and go to a Six Flags park and pay.
Yeah. And I guess it must be working for them because they've only expanded their offerings.
Yeah, they're only adding more.
And raising the price.
And raising the price, yeah. So, it's just getting worse.
I guess people are, they like that.
Pretty soon they'll be charging for the shows, too.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
The only thing that's free will be the decorations you can look at, and that'll be it.
All right. Six Flags Fright Fest, Great Adventure edition.
Well, New England isn't any better.
They all do a Fright Fest.
Right. That's the only other one we've seen.
New England's has been even worse, historically.
Mm. Did they even have shows there? I don't remember that place having anything.
They had a couple mazes. Shows, though? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they even have a Dead Man's Party or anything. At least they didn't the times we've been there.
I only did their Fright Fest once or twice.
Yeah, I've done it maybe 2 or 3. This is a case where it's completely in sync with the regular park experience.
Yeah.
Six Flags right now in the industry, and in my opinion, is offering the worst overall park experiences, and I also think it's probably the worst overall park Halloween event going on right now.
Right.
There you go. I give it half a skull, half a pumpkin.
Sure.
I don't know. There's no scale. Whatever. Just a fun anecdote, a little story.
The most memorable Fright Fest I think we've both experienced.
Yeah, we were there at the same time
at Six Flags Great Adventure. Well, really, any Halloween event ever, right?
Well, no, I mean, no, it's the.
Well, it was this
it's
one
the most memorable Fright Fest.
Yeah.
It's a memorable just day in our theme park history.
Right.
We'll never forget it.
In our entire theme park history.
I could live to 125, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so it was during Fright Fest, and this. How many years ago was this now? This is a while ago. Is it 6 or 7 now?
Is it heading close to 10 even?
Is it close to 10? Wow.
2004 or 5.
Okay, yeah, it was a long while ago. And it was a fine, kind of average day during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then once Fright Fest started, the lines for everything, but especially the mazes, because they weren't upcharged.
This is pre-upcharged.
Yeah, so they were all free. They were all included with admission. The lines just kept getting longer and longer for everything, and they were spilling out into the midway, into the walkways. And we couldn't believe it, because some lines were converging, and they were interrupting other lines.
Well, the thing was, it was a continuous thing. It was just lines were already kind of long, if I remember. We really weren't riding much, because even the lines for the rides were already kind of long. It was kind of a crowded day.
Okay.
And then, the park just kept getting more crowded. You couldn't get near any of the haunts, because those lines were ridiculous. They were beyond the temporary queues that they had set up, and were, like you said, going into the midway. The lines for the rides were all just tremendous. Some of them maybe were going out the door, of the ones where the queues were a little shorter. But after it just kept getting worse. We were just doing laps, doing around the park, just going from each. Or maybe this maze is a little more obscure and it doesn't have a long line.
Yeah.
Maybe this one, and it just kept getting worse.
No, we couldn't believe it. We were totally dumbfounded.
And it basically got to a point by the time we finally gave up, and threw our hands up, and we said, "Oh, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
Let's go to dinner." That every line was just converging into one. It was the most insane thing.
And we left. There were still like an hour or two left till closing.
Yeah,
we left.
It couldn't have been any later than 8.
Yeah,
when we left.
So there's still a little bit of time, not a lot, but
2 to 3 hours, maybe. Because then they go to 11, I think.
So there was a little bit of time left before park closing. As we were walking out, we see at the turnstiles gigantic lines of people still coming in. They're still pouring in, and we leave, and then we go and drive out.
The parking lot was full.
The parking lot was full.
They had people parked up on the grass.
Oh,
there's a grassy area.
Oh man!
Between the main entrance driveway and the parking lot, and they were parking people on that grassy area.
But then when we drive
out. It gets better.
We get out onto the main road there, and we see the line to get into the park.
Yeah.
All the cars lined up went way down the road. It was totally jammed up.
We couldn't believe
the
it.
Entire park, every single person in that state and the surrounding states that wanted to get into that park that night. It was unbelievable.
It was the most crowded park we've ever been in, right?
Ever.
The most crowded park experience you ever had was that night of Fright Fest. Not just Great Adventure, just ever.
Just
I've never seen any park that crowded.
Any day ever, period.
And I know a lot of the more
than Disney,
more than because I know a lot of the more premium parks out there, like Disney, they have limits.
Yeah, right.
And
I'm pretty sure
Six Flags
Great Adventure. Yeah, they don't know any better.
They don't count anything. They don't. There's no set limit when it reaches this. We stop admitting people. They don't even have that. And this was just insane. And I really we kind of left with this idea like there's gonna be a riot or something. I don't know how there wasn't. Nothing was ever reported on the news that I saw.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine?
But
you actually were able to get in, and you parked, and you walk up there, and you buy your ticket, and you try and get in, and the line is just out the door, even to get in. And then even if you get in, you see all the lines for everything are just so long. Can you imagine that?
You're literally, waiting an hour for anything.
You spent money for nothing to wait and be frustrated and be pissed off.
I just remember us in the car just laughing.
Yeah,
hysterically.
Of course,
we couldn't believe it. It was just the craziest thing and the funniest thing.
Yes, and this story comes up every once in a while.
The line was all the way down to 4.
Was that where that came from?
Yeah,
that was that day?
Yeah.
Down to 4.
The line is down to 4.
Yeah, my dad he lost it and he, on a word, stopped coming out.
The line's all the way down to 4.
This wasn't even, this was, like, sort of as the sun was starting to go down, right? It wasn't even nighttime yet when he lost it.
Good times. Is that Holoclaws? And Lucifer?
The hell are they doing here?
Holy shit. How come all these parks go crazy for Halloween, but there's so few Christmas events?
Because you're creepy, and Christmas is lame and stupid.
Christmas is a wonderful time that brings joy to everyone, and I, Santa Claus, am an iconic figure that deserves to be celebrated.
You are a figure that deserves to be locked up. Halloween is awesome, and parks know it. They'll go to great lengths to create long, elaborate haunts, taking people into total darkness that will scare and challenge them in a good way. Sure, I must take a few souls every year, meaning some never get out, but it's all in good sport. Who doesn't want to go by the hands of Lucifer himself in a haunted maze?
Now, wait. You're taking kids into total darkness? Maybe this Halloween thing isn't so bad after all. Santa can have so much more fun with the kiddies under the cover of darkness. I'm going to create Santa's extra dark Christmas maze. It'll be wonderful for all the good little girls and boys. Halloweener for everyone.
And people say I'm evil.
Here come some little children now.
Oh, I wouldn't go in there if I were you.
Why not? What's wrong with a little fun in the dark with Santa Man?
My idea of fun isn't being chased by a kid-touching man with his cock out.
Cock out? I don't like cocks out. I once had a close shave with one. I was molested by my uncle.
Then you better get ready, you silly claws, because I think I hear him coming.
Not again. Oh, ho, 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 no.
Ha 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 ha! Happy Halloween!
Don't go away, there's more to come. A special Halloween edition of the Writing Times. And a look at the Haunted Graveyard in part 2 of the Thanks for Writing Halloween special. We'll see you on the other side of the break.